When I was in my 20s, I got invited to my first teepee meeting over coffee with Brian. And gladly I accepted because, I've been a psychonaut for a long time and this is a new endeavor to explore my inner landscape and broader community. So I accepted, living in Eugene at the time. And so we got in the car with some friends and took a ride over to the coast and down and ended up on the way there, stopping in on a friend of Brian's and pulled into a trailer park and up to a really nicely maintained and appointed double wide up the porch and into the house of a gentleman named Harry Jerry. And Harry Jerry is a big, big man, very capable, uh, the kind of demeanor, soft spoken yet powerful and integrated in himself. He had a presence, a calm, forthright, and that presence that you knew he'd knock you out if you got out of line. That kind of guy. Big cowboy hat, big old eagle feather, big white, ZZ Top kind of beard. And through quick introduction, my friend Brian had something he needed to go attend, and so my couple friends left with him to go attend something, and there I was with Harry Jerry, sitting in the big easy boy chairs across from each other, and he says, "Well, what are you into, son?" I said, at the time I was doing a lot of improvised hip hop and spoken word and performing live in front of people pretty extensively, having some success at it. And I told him, yeah, I've been doing a lot of poetry and things like that. He says, "All right, give me a poem. Love to hear one." So I sat there and felt inclined to oblige and was in the flow of it. And so I took a breath and adjust to all the input, information, influence, stimulus that I feel. I react and I move, I interact and I prove to be moved. I shape, I grow to create, and when I speak my truth. I sing and I groove to shake and elate the troop. I watch and observe, protect and I serve my group. Our family, friends, our kin and our kids, a circular loop of relation and blood, association of love. The connection we share is above the confines of earth, connected from birth until we part from this turf we roam. We walk side by side in honor and pride, and each other confide, for each other supply the need. No matter the creed or the color, orientation of lover, man or the mother or ground that they cover, we all bleed for the sake of our seed. And what precedes? We are all bards, with stories to tell and scars. To be healed, we are revealed like naked onions. So I finished this poem for Jerry. And he sat there for a moment, considering, shaking his head in a positive yep. And from underneath the broad brim of his cowboy hat, he looks at me and he goes, "Son, they're going to kill you. Only two things I got to say that would be of any use to you, any help. One, don't go to jail. Ain't nothing you can do for your people in jail. Two, don't get dead." Well, that took me aback and didn't know quite what to do with it for a while, but it certainly affected my ability to step up on stage. These things people tell us, they can be quite powerful. These words of exchange, these little spells, the word or combination of words of great influence over time become influential. They become habituated in our process and our path. And, this concept has been coming up lately. My friend Mark England and I, and another friend of mine, in a subsequent conversation, talking about this concept of there's a lot of people who think, don't be a tall poppy. I was like, well, what's that mean to be a tall poppy? Well, it means to keep your head down because the tall poppy gets the bullet, essentially. That's what it means. And underlying that is, this common fear of reprisal, death, pain, suffering, all the things that come with the potential of speaking your truth and what is true to you in times of tumult and obfuscation when that word is not always taken with the equanimity that you deliver it. You know, your space and clarity is yours, and not everybody walks with that in them. And so there are those who would like to keep it that way, and they go to great ends to maintain that. So, sure, don't be a tall poppy. Don't get dead. That means don't go out of your way to do something that's stupid enough to have their attention on you. Now, for a lot of us, like Mark and I were talking about this, my other friend were talking about this, we were born tall poppies. I'll bet you were born a tall poppy too. And then through the course of life and conversations and habituation, kept your head down. Well, it's my feeling, it's my knowing more than a feeling, that it's no longer time to become short and small and not be seen because of fear of reprisal and, hey, death, the effect it has on your loved ones. Yeah, I mean, that's a big one. That's a big one. Knew a guy peripherally who's part of the Native community, uh, graffiti man, John Trudell. The BIA, they went after him in a big way, and his family took the brunt of his need to speak up for his people, for what he felt was right, and for, the path that he was on. And he decided that he was going to continue to be a tall poppy, and he moved on in his life and integrated that experience as best he could. And, when I was at that, what occurs to me is that I was at that teepee meeting at the mid meeting break. You go outside and catch some air, look at the stars, talk with the people around you, and Tim Lovato said something really interesting. A friend of mine was having a hard time with his marriage, and it had to do with his wife not wanting to be a part of the Native American church, the teepee meetings, and things of that nature. And it was a major part of this other friend's life. And Tim said, "There's the path that you choose. There's the path that she chooses, and then there's the path you build together." And that, when one person in a relationship decides they want to step up and be that tall poppy that they know they are, and the other one's like, I want to stay out of view. That's a hard one to negotiate. It's been a process for me in my wonderful marriage, and come to the realization and the accord together that both of us want to live a full life, be the clear expression of generative creativity that we are in God. And that whatever happens to this earthly vessel of that divine spark is here for that. The reprisal, the fear, the death, all of those things must be gone through. There's no way around them. And so, whether you want to be a short poppy or a tall poppy, you're coming to the same ends. So, the choice is that I get to be a tall poppy. I get to do this. I get to show up for my community. I get to act in love and embrace all that is this divine creative essence that we find ourselves within, and to show up for myself, through myself, for my community, for my wife, for my loved ones, for those I don't know. and I know I love. For those not yet born, to have something worth living with and for and in and upon. And, to all of you out there wondering which way to go in that forked tongue of a road, to be small and diminish yourself, or to stand up and excite your capacitance for the good works and for fully engaging in the process and the path of figuring out what this is about. What's your place in it? How do you best show up for your creative essence? And creativity shows up everywhere. It could be a bookkeeper. You could be the genius creativity within accounting. You can be a genius creative in sculpting and painting. And it is the capacitance and attention that you put to this life that we live that we're talking about. And that is what being a tall poppy is building the capacitance for attention so that your awareness can focus right into the meat and create that connectivity and the interchange and interplay so that we can dance together on a field of blissful love and darkness and the interplay of dynamics. How much more dynamic is life when you show up to step into the fullness of it? When you can let go and know that God's going to catch you when you fall, and you do it lovingly and gracefully and in true faith. And I have faith in you, every one of you out there who sees this and listens, attends, that you have it in you to be that generative creative spark of divine essence and show up for yourself, for your loved ones, for your community, for those you don't know, for those you may never know until you reach back into the essence of creation and return to unity. We are here in a realm of opposition, of dynamics, of angular momentum. And that angular momentum allows us to be the consciousness in the center of that dynamic spin and be the presence that is the eye of that tumult, chaos, and its coalescence into cohesion and coherence. So here's my prayer for your coherence and mine and the world's coherence into a more beautiful and engaged circumstance. And you are that. It's awakening and becoming cognizant that you are. I love you all. Blessings be upon you. And talk to you soon.